Enjoying secrets of a sugar daddy? How about a little something extra? Here's today's dose of extra sugar with Marcus.
Hey, this is Marcus, and welcome to this segment of Extra Sugar. All right, for today's Extra Sugar, I've got a listener letter. This one's quite interesting. She has written to me a few times. We actually touched on a letter she had written earlier, but we didn't get to the whole thing because we ran out of time. So I have another one, and it addresses some of the recent episodes. We're going to talk allowance levels in different cities and geographic areas. And then we're going to also explore why the scammers seem to be appearing on Seeking more than ever. But before we do that, if you have not applied to Sugarpalooza 5 and you are wanting to come, time is running out. Just a little over a month, we are having a Sugarpalooza 5, the Shakira Experience. So we've got 2 private suites to the Shakira concert. It's going to be fantastic. And like our other parties, we're giving away 25 Sugar Baby packages, which include 3 days and 2 nights of accommodations here in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's a beautiful time of the year to be here. You will have a mixer at the W Hotel and a private suite provided by one of our sugar daddies. It's fantastic. It's the same one that we used in Sugarpalooza 3, and it has a great balcony overlooking the pool. It's a fantastic place to meet everybody who's coming in from all over the world. Then on Thursday, November 7th, we have a pre-party at my house, and then I've got a very large party bus lined up to take us down to Footprint Arena, where we've got the 2 private suites with all you can eat and all you can drink to see Shakira in concert. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then the party bus will take us back home. And then on Friday, we've got a brunch for those that are remaining, take people to the airport that need to go back home, and then just keep partying, I guess, with the ones that are staying. We've got a lot of people that are going to go ahead and stay through the weekend. We don't have anything planned, but it should be a great time there. Just to let you know, we've got people coming again from Australia. We've got Victoria from London returning, and she was a party hit in Sugarpalooza 3. Such a great gal. And we've got some Canadians returning to the party, from people from New York City, people from LA, and everywhere in between. We've got such a great group of people coming already, but we have a few tickets left. And if you're a sugar daddy and you want to attend this party, you need to get in touch with us now. We are still accepting sponsors, so get in touch with me at info@secretsofasugardaddy.com. Now, if you want to apply for the party and you're a sugar baby, you can find that on our website. Just click the party tab. It's a little question and survey type entry form with a video of telling us why we should choose you and what is your favorite episode. So it's pretty simple, and it gives us a lot of good information on what we should have in future shows. Now, just real quickly, I know you guys know we have our Patreon group, and it is like family. It's kind of like our OnlyFans for business, and it is a lot of fun. And if you are a Patreon member, you will get priority status when it comes to judging. And the cost is free. You can sign up for free. I do throw a lot of free content on there. Now, the tiers start as low as $10 a month, and that opens up the entire site. You get the community chat. You get all the behind-the-scenes videos and photos, and then you get to hear all the extra sugars and episodes before anybody else. And then we throw all kinds of more perks in there. And we have some higher tiers where you can get coaching and profile reviews. Now, sugar dating, some of these girls are bringing in over 6 figures a year in sugar dating. So you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward and attracting the right kind of men. So we will help you with that. And men, I know there's a lot of scammers out there. There's a lot of troubled profiles out there, but there's also a lot of great women on the website. So we will also help you on how to create a profile to attract the people that you want to attract and to start a nice arrangement, which can turn into a relationship, which can turn into marriage and even more. So it's such a fantastic way to meet people. But if you're having trouble, then go to our Patreon and sign up for the coaching and profile review, and we'll be glad to help you. Okay, On to today's extra sugar. I've got a letter from, she's an avid listener. She doesn't agree with a lot of things that we talk about, which is fine. I like to hear all perspectives. We report it as we see it. I'm not saying that what I report is going on over the entire nation, but I'm interviewing, and my co-host Lily and others, we are interviewing people from coast to coast in all the major metropolitan cities. We are interviewing people from Canada. We are interviewing people from Europe, Australia, from all over the world to get kind of a heartbeat on what the current allowances are, the current status of sugar dating. And yes, it can be slightly different from area to area, but I feel like we are reporting a pretty accurate pulse on what's going on here. Our listener disagrees. So I'm going to read you this letter and then I'll provide feedback as I go through it. She says, I wanted to provide some feedback on episode 168. Now, we just released that one. And the Phoenix sugar scene versus other cities. Sugar Daddy Dwayne and Marcus have experienced in the Phoenix area sugar dating, which is very different type of sugar scene than other major metropolitan areas. Okay, well, I'm Marcus. So she's referring to me, and I have sugar dated in other cities around the U.S. So to say that, we are not aware of what's going on in the other cities is a little bit of a misquote. Anyway, she says, each major city has wealth concentrated in different industries. Yeah, you're right. New York City has Wall Street. LA has Hollywood. Bay Area and Seattle has tech. Texas cities have oil and gas. Chicago has wealth from old money from various industries. Miami has plenty of wealth from international money and wealthy people moving there for lifestyle. And from the huge drug trade in Miami. I'll throw that in there. She says, Phoenix Scottsdale, while is a very large sugar scene, there is no industry or employer who creates a large amount of wealth as people move there and bring their wealth with them, usually when retiring. And the men in the sugar scene in Phoenix are probably the oldest average age of any city I ever looked in. Well, that's her opinion, and obviously she's not aware of the industries that have flooded into the Phoenix market, making us the 5th largest city in America, that are fleeing the California taxes and all the restrictions that are in that California has put on businesses and all the regulations. New York businesses also are fleeing to Florida and Arizona. We've got Chicago businesses fleeing to Arizona. So we have got a wide range of businesses here in Phoenix that pay quite well and are making people very wealthy. So she's a little bit less knowledgeable on that. All right, continue. She says, the women in Phoenix area are definitely on the top end of looks compared to other cities and could rival the ladies in New York City and LA and Miami. That I agree. As I change my profile and I actually sugar date in cities all over the U.S., I would agree with you on that statement. I have also noticed allowances are lower in Phoenix compared to other cities and the men have lower net worth on average. Well, I'm telling you what, that may have been true a few years ago, but the allowances in Phoenix seem to be on the way up. I mean, I was just talking to somebody on Seeking 30 minutes ago, and she quoted that her PPM, her normal PPM, is around $700 to $800. Now, if that is low compared to the other cities, it might be, but I feel like 5 years ago, it was $300 to $500. So now girls are pretty much expecting $500 to $800, even to $1,000. So I think that actually has brought the allowance scene up in the Phoenix area. I just don't think that allowances of much more than that are very common anywhere else. You may get cases where somebody's saying, oh, I'm getting $1,500 PPM or $2,000 PPM. They are on the rare side. When we talk allowance numbers, we are talking average. There are thousands and thousands of women on Seeking. And if you average them out and you take a mean, that is more what we are talking about. Yes, there are going to be girls that are making a lot more. There are OnlyFans girls that are making $1 million a month. I know one personally. I know girls personally that are making $100,000 a month. But you look up a statistic on Google and I didn't look it up, but it used to be the average girl on OnlyFans was making like less than $1,000 a month. The average. So there's thousands and thousands of girls on OnlyFans not seeing that success that those top few in the echelon are seeing. It's the same way with sugar dating.
It's a dose of extra sugar with Marcus. Brought to you by secretsofasugardaddy.com.
All right, she goes on and says, I liken this to the fact that housing prices in Phoenix are still very reasonable and people haven't made as much equity in their real estate at the same level. I would encourage when discussing not only allowance but also income and net worth to not focus on personal experiences of Phoenix area, as this area is atypical of any other major city when discussing the sugar scene. And yes, it is the city that we record out of, so we have the most history there. But again, like I said, I am interviewing men and women from all over the United States. They come to my party. We discuss all of these subjects that we talk about during all the episodes in Extra Sugars, the podcast. And I feel like we are reporting it as accurately as they are giving it to us. So I don't know where we're going wrong there, but certainly we are taking a closer look. Men making $1 million plus are not that rare, especially in the tech industry and New York City and of course Hollywood, but let's leave La La Land out of the mix. I have met probably at least 40 men making over $1 million a year in person and talked to even more in messaging. The highest net worth I met in person was over $100 million, and I have met 5 men in that range and talked to even more in messaging. Well, Kimmy, my past co-host, has met multiple billionaires here in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. Multiple, meaning more than one. Matter of fact, she is still in an arrangement relationship with one, and she met him during the Super Bowl here in Phoenix. So trust me, there is plenty of wealth in Arizona. She says there are very few men in the Phoenix area who even have at least 10 million net worth, which in other cities is way more common. So no, it's not hard to get 5,000 to 15,000 monthly allowance when looking at the sugar scene as a whole. But if you're talking about the microcosm that is the Phoenix scene, then yes, it's probably not typical. The men of Phoenix are definitely have some of the highest level of attractive ladies who get the least financial support than any other area in the U.S. So realize the men are very lucky, and it is not like this anywhere else, not even close. Well, maybe we're just very, very lucky here, but there is a plethora of beautiful women. I would say it's affordable, quote unquote, I guess, compared to other cities, but, you know, the cost of living here has gone up. I mean, I sold an average, one of my Airbnbs I sold the other day, and it was a starter home, average less than 1,600 square feet, and I bought it back in 1999 for $93,000. I sold it for $500,000. So I don't know why you think that the real estate values in the Arizona area aren't rivaling what they are otherwise. Yes, I get it. A 1,600 square foot home in Seattle is like $1 million now, in LA too. It's ridiculous. In New York City, that's why people are moving to Arizona. So she goes on, I'm not sure if I agree with the 10% rule of thumb allowance mentioned, as I have been in the bowl for a very long time, and there is income and there is net worth, and many times they are not correlated. Selling a business, leaving corporate to pursue passion project, doing a startup, semi-retiring can skew the income to net worth ratio. I vacation in Scottsdale. I have been to every restaurant you guys mentioned on the podcast. They are all great places. Yes, they are. I agree with you on that part. I constantly look at real estate when I'm in Phoenix area and on Zillow, and for the life of me, haven't been able to figure out how to buy a house in the area for an investment property and make it cash flow or even break even when I compare the rents to the cost of the houses. And there is so much available inventory to select from, both furnished and unfurnished, to compete with. My only guess is that you would have to have already bought a house there many years ago and mortgage is low, or you flat out own it. I will just have to look at other cities for rental properties. So what you're saying is that our real estate is inflated and it is high. rents have not caught up to cover the mortgage, but that's pretty typical. I mean, I started buying rental properties over 25 years ago. I was supplementing, even back then, I'm buying properties for $90,000, $100,000, $120,000, and I was supplementing to get the mortgage paid. Like, my renters were only paying $700, $800, $900 a month for a house. So I was having to come up with the extra $100 or $200 to make my mortgage. No, I wasn't cash flowing, but you know what happened? Time happened, and the time is the most important thing in real estate. From the history of time, it's been a straight line of appreciation. Now, yes, there are some ups and downs if you zoom in on that line, but from the history of time, real estate has been and proven to be one of the absolute best investments you can make. Doesn't mean you're going to cash flow from the very beginning. You have to let time work. You have to let the appreciation of the property work. You get the depreciation on your taxes. Rents start rising, and soon you will be cash flowing, but you got to put in the time. That is the secret to real estate, long-term holdings of real estate. Just to finish up here, she's going to get into the scammer part, which this is really interesting. On to the discussion of scammers. For so many years, the sugar sites were under the radar of scammers and people who don't belong in the scene, so that was never a problem. These days, sugar sites are on the radar of the South Asian cybercriminal enterprises, and the people are slaves and have been tricked into entering a compound where they get kidnapped and have their passports taken and forced to work 10 to 12 hours with little sleep and no ability to leave, and their lives are threatened daily, and their families' lives. They have scripts and can't deviate, and most of the time it isn't a Nigerian with a cell phone doing this of their own free will. I am not saying the Nigerians have disappeared entirely. It's just the criminal gangs have taken over the space so much. Google call center, Mexico murders, you don't get to quit, you get killed. Also, there is a subreddit scammer payback, and there are posts of people breaking character and begging to not be messaged again as all the chats are monitored. So when you come across an obvious fake profile with the worst messages that make no sense, the best way to deal with it is just report it and include a sentence that you think this is a human trafficking situation. These third world countries are awful places, and they don't have sophisticated AI tech, so they use human slaves to work the scams, and they are profitable when you have no regard for human life. There are chats posted as examples on the scammer payback subreddit. Instead of getting mad, just assume it's a horrible kidnapping situation where the people can't get out of. So basically she's saying that maybe the increase of all these scammers is because people have been kidnapped and forced to try to scam money out of sugar daddies. I mean, that may be. I don't know if you have any proof of that or if that's a theory. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that a lot of them are that. But yeah, the profiles that are just popping up on Seeking by the thousands are the worst. They look good. The girls look amazing. Of course, they pull the prettiest girls from the internet. But the wording on those are so vague, and they talk about long-term relationships, getting married, finding love. If you find those types of words in a profile, yeah, more than likely it's fake. If they don't have any local pictures, if they start talking about just generic things, and then look at the grammar too. A lot of the grammar is so fucked up. It's just not good. And actually, what's funny is the grammar actually may be correct, but there's ways that they talk that people don't talk like that. When you read something or when they respond and you're like, wow, that's not the way I would have phrased that, let that be a red flag to you, because it's probably some foreigner, maybe in a call center, trying to get money out of you, and that's their job. I don't know, but that's pretty good insight on what it might be. We love hearing from you guys. I take your letters seriously. If there's something that we're reporting wrong or just don't have a good feel of the situation, I want to know about it, because we want this to make it the best sugar dating podcast we can, and we want to give accurate numbers and an accurate feel of what's going on out there. And I feel like we are doing that. So I appreciate you guys hanging around. We've got a lot of good stuff up ahead. Look for a new episode on Tuesday. And again, if you haven't joined our Patreon, come join the family. Whether you're going to the party or not, we would still love to have you as a part of the family, even if it's as a free member. Come join at patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. Okay, until next time, bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed your Extra Sugar with Marcus. As always, visit our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, to comment or tell us your story.